armor stops when the person begins, even in the game itself. Like maybe possibly I could look badass for one day of my life.
I think that's your own issue, but no, I'm going much more. It's definitely a part of it, but it's not by any means the focus of it. You want somebody that embodies Marcus and has the look, and every movie that I see and all the actors that are popping up, I'm always keeping in mind. And I know a lot of these people, and so I'm always thinking about who could play the best Marcus. But definitely it's coming from, you want to get hooked into the character, you want him to lead you through all this amazing spectacle that's going to happen, and that for me is an actor.
Actually, speaking of spectacle, Chris, spectacle is probably one of the best words to describe playing both of the Gears games.
Right.
Obviously, you can't do all the spectacle. Is there any in the 2 hours or 6 hour long film that you're working on? Can you give us a sense of one thing that might be making its way into the screenplay?
Emergence Day.
Yeah.
That'll be there. That'll be big.
Yes, I would hope so. Now, the one thing is, it's funny, when I was playing the first Gears, and you do see the Emergence Day, or the aspects of it, it was rather kind of shocking. I mean, you really got that sense of something terrible.
Emergence Day, we tried to pitch for the comic. They had to.
That's
so interesting. I can't wait to see what you do.
There is that fine line where you want the excitement, you want that sense of drama, that sense that really a wonderful civilization has been upended and it is all gone. But that can become so overbearing that it can almost sort of bring down the movie. Like you don't want to make it 2.5 hours of depressing action. You want to have some awesome action in there as well. Where is that line for you?
I mean, for me personally, it's in the tone of it. Depending on how where it's set, how the what the movie looks like is one thing, but the tone of the characters and how they are interacting with each other, that gives you the overall experience of the movie. Whether it's would you you look at a movie back to like Aliens, or in terms of what the environment looks like versus how much fun you have watching it and with the characters. So it's a balance, I think.
Now, Lane, obviously you've worked on movies that definitely have spectacle. Live Free or Die Hard, the first two of the Underworld movies. I mean, you really played in that area. But you do have a great deal of interest in wanting to allow those human characters, or just those quieter moments, have a place there. How are you going to approach that balance? And I guess almost in sort of the inhuman of the CG versus the human of the people or prosthetic people that may or may not be in the film.
I mean, I approach it from story and character first, and I know the spectacle is going to be there, and it's a huge focus of what the movie is going to be, but it's not the first priority. And then it starts with the story and the characters, and really taking a lot of time with having characters that you root for, that you care about, that in the end you don't just go, wow, that's really cool, but you go, oh my God, I want him to survive. There's a big difference in watching. So, that's in terms of my passion for it. There's the, getting really invested in those characters, and in terms of the spectacle of it as well. That's the 14-year-old in me that I really want to see all that stuff, and that's a huge draw to creating a world, which I love to do, but not if you're not on board with who's taking you through that whole spectacle.
And that's kind of a testament to what these guys have done too, because not only do you have that spectacle, but you want to follow them. They're a band, and even though the world is literally at an end and as bad as things can get, they still joke, they still have that human spirit and that hope and compassion. And you don't follow an event in a movie, you follow the characters through. You can have the biggest spectacle in the world, but if you don't care about the characters, it doesn't matter.
And this also plays into the in terms of making the movie, and that all sounds great in the theory of it, but in terms of pulling that off, it was one of the reasons I was also very excited about, is that finding out that through it being connected with New Line, great opening of the Lord of the Rings, as well as Legendary, who put together Dark Knight, and so when you combine those families together, and you realize the kind of tone that they are used to doing with this genre of film, and what you feel safe that, okay, they're going to understand the kind of approach that I would go for a movie like Gears, and the tone is so important to pull a movie like this off. And so that was a part of it that really excited me too, is knowing that we have the correct tone for it.
Cliff, I was going to ask, obviously you are interacting with them quite a bit in the development of this film.
Yeah, I mean, it's been one of those things that, I mean, what Len was talking about right there is that we're all the kinds of guys that like these cool worlds, these cool places, this sci-fi and fantasy element, and the collaboration has been a really, really fun and interesting one. I mean, we have these random emails that go through at like 1 o'clock in the morning where it's like, hey, did you see the District 9 trailer? And it's like, oh, I loved it, the part where the mech grabs the RPG. Yeah, the contrast of the third world of Africa with the alien technology was great. And we're just like, what is going on? This has nothing to do with Gears, but it's just, and that movie looks great, by the way, too, but it's one of those, like, meetings of the minds of sensibilities, right? Whereas we're all kind of finding each other in this world of entertainment where games and comic books and movies are all kind of merging in this kind of same direction.
And 1 a.m. is early, by the way.
What's that?
1 a.m. is early.
Yeah,
Emails
right.
come in far later than that. Far later.
Yeah, I mean, it's great. And a lot of it starts from just seeing if you get along with the people you're going to be working with, and if you just share an interest in the same kinds of films, and like we talk a lot about. I mean, I talk a lot about the tone of them and what works, what doesn't. You know, there's been a lot of video game-based movies that don't work, and I have my own theories on why that is and why this one is going to work. And we share a lot of the same views, so that's it's kind of what creates the reason why we're doing like the 1 a.m. emails about random shit. So.
Well, I think that is an important thing. That I think that why there's always apprehension when there's a celebrated video game property that's about to get a movie treatment is that, unfortunately, the history of those treatments has been less than flattering to the game, less than enamoring of the general populace to what the game is supposed to be about. What are you doing to try to prevent that, and without having to drag any other movies through the mud? What is wrong with a lot of the video game to movie transitions?
Who wants that one?
Yeah.
My quick 2-second answer on that one. One of the things the perception from my end, it seems to have been a lot of that. Okay, video game guys, we're gonna take your little video game and go make a movie now. You go play in the kids' table, right? And I feel like what we're doing different here is that there's a lot of back and forth, a lot of collaboration. Like I said, a lot of those. Okay, maybe it was 4 in the morning one time, Chris. I emailed you, but there's that kind of relationship that happens, and they say it's not show friends, it's show business, where you're going to be working with these people, there is a certain element of getting along that needs to be there.
I also think too that you can be too tied to what is the game, right? I think this isn't true for all of them, but I think a large part of the time is that people feel like, okay, we're so oriented towards grabbing the gamer audience that we don't leave the right things behind to make the best movie possible. And I think what I'm really happy about as helping to create this IP is, and letting Len and Chris run with it, is that we have the trust that we know that they understand that it's about making the best movie possible. It's not about let's make the Gears story from the game into a movie. It's about making a story that's compelling with these characters on our world, and you really need to be able to let go. And I think maybe that's part of why previous game movies have not succeeded as well, is because they haven't been willing to let go. When we looked at the movie treatment stuff in terms of the point we want to prepare for a possible movie, we had 3 pages, like, please don't kill Marcus. It's like that kind of stuff. I joked, it's like, I'm Canadian, so I always, I'm sorry, but you can't kill Marcus, is really the way I would do it. But it's that kind of stuff. It was like, here are some really basic stuff that is really important to us, that certain characters need to live in order for us to continue on in our world. But otherwise, please go make the best movie possible and do that in a way that fits your medium.
Also, there was kind of this studio sense a while back, not so much anymore, that video games are kind of, when you're developing a movie for a video game, it's kind of said with a wink or an apology, like, you don't have to take it too serious because it's a video game and the guys are going to come anyway, and it's not that way anymore. Like, you take it serious, they're putting big money into it, you want to be, you want to create a film franchise that people care about.
I remember the other day we were talking too with respect for the property, like we're seeing with Watchmen Legendary. As Len was saying, there's respect. Finally, hey, video games are just not kids.
Well, I mean, it wasn't that long ago that
we were
that,
talking about that, both of you guys.
that same thing was happening with comic books, right? They're like, it's a comic book movie, screw it, put rubber nipples on it, right? Like, nobody cares.